At this time, we'll call to order the regular city council meeting for July 24th, 2023. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk Deaton, please let the roll call show all council members are present. And we'll move on to the approval of City Council minutes, July 10th, 2023. Councilmember Kennedy.
I'll move the minutes.
I'll support.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. No bills this evening, so we'll look for the approval of the agenda. Councilmember Mosier.
I'll move the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Tonight's consent agenda, Parks and Recreation appointment and social district permits. Councilmember Kurtzwell.
Thank you. I move the consent agenda as presented by the mayor.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please. Councilmember Kivel.
Is the applicant in the crowd? No.
Parks and
Okay.
Rec.
Thank you.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I'm excited for this. Very special night tonight as we honor some of our city's finest. Tonight we have a proclamation honoring Martin's Hardware. Afterwards, Mr. Ledbetter will lead our public comment to speak on the Martins' behalf, and then we'll open the floor for the normal public comment after that. Whereas small businesses have shaped our communities, embodied the entrepreneurial spirit, and become pillars of our economy. Whereas Martin's Hardware opened for business in 1968 at 105 North Lafayette at the corner of West Lake and North Lafayette in the heart of downtown South Lyon. And whereas Martin's Hardware occupied this location in downtown South Lyon for 19 years before moving to their current location at 229070 Pontiac Trail. And whereas Martin's Hardware, with its friendly, professional, and knowledgeable staff, was voted the #1 independent hardware store in 2020. And whereas Martin's Hardware has been an important, caring part of the community, contributing to many causes and needs without hesitation. And now, therefore, I, Daniel L. Pelchat, Mayor of the City of South Lyon, on behalf of our City Council and the entire community, offer congratulations to Martin's Hardware for their many years of business in the South Lyon community. Larry, come on up.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm very fortunate to be able to speak about these special people that I've known for a long time. I came to South Lyon in 1975, and I met Bud Martin as one of my first contacts. Charles Bud Martin was born in South Lyon in 1935 at the Havershaw Hospital at Detroit and Wells Street. His family has roots in this area dating back to 1830. Bud started work at Ed Nugent's Hardware at 17 years old. Madonna Tranowski started work there at 18, a short time later. You no doubt have heard of high school sweethearts. These two were hardware sweethearts. Next picture. Oop, we skipped one. You have to see that one. That's a beauty right there. That's a gorgeous picture of those two young people. Okay, they had 3 children, Bob, Bill, and Mary Ann. In 1968, they bought the hardware store at 105 North Lafayette from Max Gates. Donna was a bookkeeper and worked the sales floor with Bud. Okay, next picture would be Donna. We got out of order again. There's Donna. Bud first worked in the store in 1972. Bob first worked in the store at 12 years old. Bill joined in 1982 at 16 years old. He was busy with high school sports, baseball and basketball. Mary Ann had a career with the South Lyon schools. So they were very active in our community. Picture of the whole family in front of the store now. It's okay. There they are. I love that picture. Look at those young people there. Bob and Donna had the foundation for Bill and Bob to succeed in the business. They were kind and friendly to the community. The family has supported many local organizations and causes over 55 years. Picture of Bud in the store and is relaxed. Wrong one. One more. There it is. I like that one. He's so relaxed. And I think somebody might be able to tell me who that's in the picture with them. Go ahead. Who is it?
So the one on the right is our grandfather, that's Bud's dad.
Bud's dad.
And then that's Dean Sparks.
Dean Sparks. That's right. Okay. Okay, so they supported sports teams, the VFW, Operation Engine Soldier, camps for blind children, active faith, local churches, South Lyon school programs, the Historical Society, American Legion, Boy Scout Eagle projects, such as the American flags that are downtown. That was a recent project that Bob made it happen because he gave the young scout enough of a good deal. He gave him stuff at cost to do that. All those beautiful flags, those 76 flags downtown, are a result of their efforts in addition to the scout. So they deserve credit for that. Now, picture number, next one there, the one in the store of the family. Yeah, there's the whole fam. I love that one. That's a beautiful picture. Now, I've got to tell a few stories that I learned while I was doing some research. Norm Summers told me a story that he and his wife Mila went to Canada and they saw an antique pitcher pump, the old type that would be in a sink that you would pump to get, you didn't have electricity, you would pump the water up. Well, Norm wanted to put that to use. He just had a desire to make that happen. So he bought it, he brought it home, and it would work except the leather seal was shot. So he went to the store to see Bud and asked him, do you have any leather that I could maybe cut a piece and make it work in here for a seal? And Bud reached into a cubby hole and pulled it out, and he says, how about this one? And it was exactly what the pump needed. And he performed that with me too, magic. When I would go there looking for electrical parts, he would perform that magic. He would know in that store where there were parts that could fix my broken equipment. And I have another story that I love to tell, that Ron Weber called Bud at home after hours. Of course, Bud was home. My pump failed and I don't have water. So Bud picked up the pump at the store, delivered it, and helped install it to get his water going. Now that's service. And then sometime in the 70s, there was a big snowstorm, and Bud and Donna snowmobiled in from their home at 8 Mile to their store because they knew their customers were going to need help. They're going to need snow shovels, at least. They always made it their community. They always made their community their objective. It has been my pleasure to work with Susan Martin, who is the wife of Bob. 18 years ago, she joined the City of South Lyon water management programs, of which there are 2, wellhead protection and stormwater. Her recent work with the art contest for the new water department logo, now in use, she has assisted me with the creek cleanup for 18 years. Why I say assisted me, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have had the successes we've had. This year, she was able to recruit over 99 people out to do the creek cleanup. It was fantastic. So, and we've gone out farther with every year. We've expanded. So thanks to Susan for that. Susan has had a water booth at the Depot Day for 16 years, as well as other annual South Lyon events. Susan enjoys her work because it involves science, working with students, and other water organizations. Susan has worked studiously for the programs, stays up to date with the science of water, and does many tasks, including education and outreach activities. Susan has volunteers at the South Lyon Historical Society and Historical Commissions as a director and a commissioner. She is a committee member of the Watershed and Stormwater Committee of Michigan, the Water Environmental Association, and a member of the Water Environment Federation. When I moved to town in 1975, I came to work, but I moved here in 76. I was fortunate to experience the special treatment of the Martin family, from Bud, Donna, Bob, and Bill, and all the other Martins, and also their employees who carry on with the family atmosphere of Martin's Hardware.
At this time, we'll open the floor for public comment, if anyone else has anything. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Bill might say something. Come on, Bill.
come on up, Bill, please. Yeah, please do.
I just want to represent the Martins family here, and since they're hanging me out to dry up here to talk. My mom and dad really built the foundation for Bob and I in this business, and they taught us the value of hard work and how to treat people. And I just want to say thank you, Mom, and really appreciate you guys having us up here. It's a real honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will open the floor for public comment. All right, we'll close the floor for public comment, and we'll move on to the discussion of downtown with DDA Director Nate Mack.
All right, good evening, everyone. So the farmers market continues to be very successful. Last weekend was more of the same, like we've had throughout the entire season. It was a great market, lots of people down there, and this weekend will especially be a good market because we have the car show, we have Christmas in July, and we have the farmers market going on. So it's going to be a big day in downtown. Last week, I sent out a social district FAQ and map. I posted that on the Downtown South Lyon Facebook page. I sent it out to the downtown business distribution list that we have. I meant to include it in my report, but I did not, so I can get that to you if you would like it. But it was just some of the most frequently asked questions. Obviously, that's the FAQ, and the map of kind of what the commons area will be, which is what people will experience as a social district. We're still waiting on the approval from the state of Michigan. I think it'll be coming this week probably. There was an issue. They said uploading the map, it didn't come through clearly enough, so I resent that to them. So hopefully we'll be good to go with that. Yeah, we've gotten some more items that have arrived for the gathering area by the farmers market. So we've gotten some picnic tables, circular, bar tables that are 4 or 5 feet tall, faux ivy, temporary fence to block the alley, and then a few other things. So it should be a nice little area down there. And then finally, the social media training for South Lyon businesses is set for Wednesday, August 9th and Wednesday, August 30th from 10 a.m. to noon at City Hall. There's been a good response from businesses so far. I'm hoping to get a few more to sign up, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Councilmember Dillon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple questions. For the social district, I know that we approved 2 tonight. What happens to the social district, let's say, if no one else applied, and we only have the 2?
So you need a minimum of 2 licensed establishments that are touching the commons area of the social district to have it be in effect. And so we have those two.
Does
Yeah,
it?
but I've gotten 3 more applications.
Okay, great.
So we'll have 5 or 6 businesses.
If somebody, the furthest, does it matter how large the area is? Is it based on the establishments, is what I'm trying to say?
No, I called the MLCC and asked that question.
Okay.
To see if you have to have like, licensed establishments bookending each side of the district or something like that, and they said, no, you don't have to.
So whatever we have established, it doesn't matter who applies?
As long as there are 2 licensed establishments that have the permits for the social district. For
Okay.
the social district, we're good.
And then, how often do they have to renew those?
Annually.
Okay.
Yep.
And there was something else, hold on. Oh, so all the stuff that you have for the gathering area that'll be out, like, who will put that out? How long will it be out? Is it got taken down only when?
I've been working with DPW to put it up, and I think, some of the stuff that is not going to be able to hang out in the wintertime, we can either put it in the farmer's market shed or hopefully find some place at the DPW yard to store it.
But will it be up, like, all the time? It'll always be, like, in the summer? It'll always be out there, or will it
Yeah.
come down and go
Yeah, it'll
up
be
and
up
stuff
all the
and
time.
just stay out there? Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Councilmember Kurtzwell.
Thank you. That sort of prompted me, you asked a question that sort of prompted a conversation that I had with some businesses in a social district area in another community, is the importance of those anchors to stay in the social district for a period of time, because they can disrupt that social district if they decide, for whatever reason, they don't want to participate. So it's real critical for whoever those 2 anchors are, that they make a real strong commitment to the DDA. Because maybe the first year it won't be maybe as what everybody expected, because I think everyone's going to try, we're going to get our feet wet. The community has to get adjusted to it. So you can't back away because the first year didn't meet your expectations of drawing a crowd. So hopefully they understand how important it is that they're making a commitment. I don't want to say for the long term, but pretty close to the long term.
Yeah.
They need to stick with it.
Yep, and we'll be watching it closely to see how things go.
Okay.
Soliciting feedback and, talking to the police and fire departments, downtown businesses, and all that type of thing, so.
Councilmember Kennedy.
Nate, you mentioned we have a pretty good list of folks signed up for the August 9th and August 30th, was it, training session? How many businesses does that mean?
I think we've got right now around, I don't remember off the top of my head, about 12, I think, is what we're at.
Between the two?
That's good.
Yeah. So, it's a 2-part training, so I'm hoping people show up for both parts.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councilmember Kivel.
Do you have a sense of the reluctance of some of the establishments down in the social district not weighing in already? Getting signed up and all that.
Oh, for their applications?
Yes.
Yeah, they're just trying to get kind of like their insurance documents in place and that kind of stuff, so.
It's paperwork,
Yeah,
probably?
yep.
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor, just one.
No, go ahead.
I wanted to say, I really liked that graphic that you posted. It was, I don't know if you made it, or who made it, but it was really, really good.
Thanks.
I thought it was very helpful. That's all, thanks.
Great update, Nate. If we need to reach out to our friend, Mr. Morgan in Lansing to help us get things moving, let me know.
All right, sounds good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
On to the fire chief report tonight. Chief Thorrington.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. We are currently at 740 incidents up through this meeting. We had a pretty large storm blow through last Thursday, knocked down a lot of power lines and trees on houses. One of the houses, it took down half the secondary line to the house that fed it. Had a small fire in the back side of the house, burnt up into the overhang. Fortunately, the dentist, a couple doors down, ran out and hit it with his dry chem and knocked most of it out. So by the time we got there, we were able to have a pretty quick hit, and it was a good save. So we did end up kicking in their front door to go up and check the attic just to make sure it didn't extend into the attic, but it had not. So it was a good outcome for a bad situation. During that storm, we had 15 firefighters out working the streets in different places and all of our apparatus, including our utility and my car as well. So it was a busy couple of hours, but then the sun came out and it got real nice. So I feel like I should talk about the ladder truck. I have up to this point, but there's nothing new to report on the truck, so this will probably be the last one we talk about that. The spray park on the 14th, we had a great turnout. I want to thank Mendocini's Pizza for supplying pizza for all the participants. It was pretty awesome. We had our safety tunnel last week. It was a big hit, along with the police and HVA ambulance. The kids got to look around the station and learn some fire safety tips. As far as training, last Tuesday we went out to the burn building and had live fire training. It's always available training, and all the new firefighters were there, so it's a good experience for them. And lastly, I think it was in my Thursday report that we completed the bathrooms at the fire station. We had a contractor come in and do the showers, which we talked about before. But our firefighters completed the lighting, replaced lighting, and painted it, and it looks like they're brand new. So it turned out really nice. So
Great. Councilmember Kurtzwell.
I had a quick question to ask on some of the equipment that the department has. There was an interesting story on the news, I think it was in West Bloomfield possibly, where the elderly couple was trapped in their house. And it may have been just over the weekend. And the responding fire department had to do a blind walk because, is that what it's called? Because the fumes were so bad, the fire was so bad, they had to go in and take their hands onto the wall and feel their way around. They had to find them. One was found upstairs and one was down in the kitchen. Now, they had also, it reported thermal imaging or whatever to
Yep.
see.
Yep.
Why were they not able to see? I thought that was the whole point. And do we have that equipment?
we do have that equipment. We have a new imaging camera on both of our engines and the ladder truck in the last year. I'm not sure in the situation why they didn't use them. Maybe the frontline firefighters didn't bring it in. Maybe they have old technology. The older ones like we had before were not near as clear as what the ones we have now. I mean, now if you hold it up, it's like looking at a black and white picture of what's going on in a black room. So it's a completely different situation from what we had in the past. The past was like a blob, right? So maybe they have the old technology. Maybe they didn't bring it in. I'm not sure. But that is what it's for, and that's what we'll be using it for. That makes a huge, huge difference. So.
Could you inquire into that possibly? I'd like to chat a little bit about it. I mean, that sounded horrible, that they apparently had equipment to see into that fire, and they could not see. They had to put their hands on the walls.
Yep, it's pretty common in a house fire, any kind of fire really. The heat and the smoke are trapped in the building and it banks down. So we crawl in, use the walls and a tool to find our way.
Yes.
And they're expensive, so maybe the front engine didn't have it, but I can look into it as well.
Yeah, because I'd like to make sure we have it, because
We definitely have it.
okay.
Yeah, we do.
But more updated than maybe what they had out there in West Bloomfield?
Possibly. Ours are brand new within the last year, so
Okay, all
they're
right.
top of the line.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else
Anybody
have
else?
anything for
Sorry.
Chief tonight?
Nope.
Thanks,
All right,
Chief.
thank you.
On to the police chief report with Chief Baki.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. Just got a few things today. Starting out with the Corner Social, just to give you an update on that. We are currently have one individual identified involvement in that accident, and it's still under investigation. Once we get that information, we're going to forward it up for a review for the prosecutor's office. So that's been taken care of. We also participated in Safety Town, had a great turnout. The officer said that everybody was really receptive of what we're talking about, seeing the cars and all of that. So it's always a good time for the kids and us to engage with the public. We enjoy that. Our cells, for the plumbing in our holding cells, spoke with a contractor. He's going to start ordering parts to fix our cell plumbing, so hopefully that'll start up here in the next few weeks. Our new vehicle, we still have that, has not gone to the vendor yet. We have to get our old vehicle stripped out, so we're still waiting for him to receive that vehicle. Once that equipment is stripped out, we will then turn in our new vehicle for them to take out what can be used from the old vehicle into the new vehicle, and hopefully that'll happen, I'm hoping within the next week, we can start that project. We are also still, towards the end of the month, we're still taking applications for police officer, and that'll be at the end of this month. Right now, we've got, looks like 5 people who applied, and once we get those 5 into our hiring process, we're going to start oral boards and start getting the process going on that. And I think that's all I got for right now. If you got any questions.
Anyone got anything for Chief? All right, thanks for the update, Chief.
Thank you.
No unfinished business tonight, so we'll move on to new business number 1, award of bid, construction of sanitary sewer under CSX Railroad.
Mr. Mayor, as part of our efforts to make further improvements to our infrastructure within the city of South Lyon, we're installing a new sanitary sewer line under the CSX Railroad tracks on Pontiac Trail. We've attached information relating to, or from our engineers outlining the recommendation for award, the bid tab information, and also project plans. Possible courses tonight are approve or not approve the award of bid for the construction of a sanitary sewer line under CSX Railroad on Pontiac Trail to DVM Utilities Incorporated of Sterling Heights in the amount of $662,307, coming out of account 592-557-972. Mike Darga, our engineer from HRC, is here also to answer any questions you may have regarding the project.
Councilmember Kennedy.
I'd like to go ahead and make the motion to approve the award of the bid for the construction of a sanitary sewer line under the CSX Railroad on Pontiac Trail to DVM Utilities Incorporated of Sterling Heights in the amount of $662,307 from account number 592-557-972.
I'll support.
We have a motion by Councilmember Kennedy, supported by Councilmember Dilg. Do we have any further discussion? Councilmember Kivel?
I was curious, what's the timeline on the project?
We're looking to have it in service by the end of the year.
When will it kick in? I mean, when are getting going?
I would imagine within the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Councilmember Kennedy?
So, Mike, are we still planning to reline the other line, so we'll have the backup
Yes.
redundancy there, so that should one need to be worked on, we can transfer over to the other and vice versa?
Yes.
Okay, and
But
that's all
that-
part of the same project,
It is
right?
part of the project. Depends on when they get the new line in service. They might not be able to do the lining till the spring when there's warmer weather, but it is part of the project.
But as long as we're going to do that by the time we're all said and done, right?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Councilmember Kurtzwell?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I took some time to go over the bid. You know, it's a pretty detailed bid, and that's what I kind of liked about this contractor in terms of itemized and everything. Could you please explain, and I wasn't real sure about this, the charge, it's about $22,000. It's on item 31. It's the project dewatering. I mean, is that just removing the water out of the systems?
The groundwater, they have to dig a 15-foot deep pit and bore under the railroad tracks.
Yep.
So they'll have to get the groundwater down within those pits so they can work.
Okay. Oh, okay. And I'm just curious, I'm looking at item 36 through 38, sprinkler line special. Where are those sprinkler lines? Whose property are those sprinkler lines on? Is it on private property, the sprinkler lines?
They could be. Those are in there just in case they come across them.
Well, they're either there or they're not. I mean, I was a little bit surprised to see sprinkler lines on there, because I went down and I took a look, and I couldn't imagine where there were sprinkler lines that would have to be repaired. I mean, I walked that area and I couldn't figure out where the sprinkler lines were.
It's more, I don't know, it could be on the apartment side, or I doubt the window shop has them in that back corner. But it could be on it's an item just in case we need it, is what
Okay,
it's
so there's a possibility that the bid may actually come down maybe $10,000-$12,000.
Yeah, if they don't use those items, they don't get paid
Yeah,
for it.
okay, all right, got it. And will this take care of the problem on the collection of water on the east side of the street, on Pontiac Trail, right where the chiropractor's office is?
No, that's stormwater.
That's stormwater.
Yep, this is
Okay.
all sanitary work.
And that's the sanitary. Okay,
That
got it.
stormwater is going to be the part of the 26 paving project for Pontiac Trail.
Okay, so that's the schedule for that, because I got a question on that one. Okay, all right. Thank you. You've been very helpful.
We have a motion by Councilmember Kennedy, supported by Councilmember Dilg. Do we have any further discussion? City Clerk Deaton, could you lead us in a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. Motion passes. New business number 2 this evening, purchase of combination sewer cleaning vacuum truck from Jack Donahue Company.
Good evening, Council Mayor. The DPW is requesting the purchase of a combination cleaning vacuum truck from Jack Doheny Company. The vehicle will be replacing a 15-year-old vac truck, which will be selling at a third-party auction, specializing in selling heavy equipment. Jack Doheny Company offered us 10 grand for our trade-in. I thought that was kind of a joke, but so I decided to reach out to a third-party company. They said they could probably get us more. I believe they can get us close to 20,000 on an auction site. This should cover any increases or surcharges that may incur. This is a budget item for the current fiscal year. It will be ready for delivery in January of 2024. Funds will be coming out of for the purchase will be coming out of the Vehicle Equipment Replacement Fund, GL line, or GL 642-979-510, not 500. There's a correction on that. I missed one digit. So looking for approval, do not purchase combination sewer cleaning vacuum truck from Jack Doheny Company for $400,906. $496,118.84. Sorry, stumbling over my words.
Councilmember Hanson.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the purchase of the combination sewer cleaning vacuum truck from Jack Downey Company for the cost of $496,118.84 from GL 642-979.510.
Correct.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hanson, supported by Councilmember Kennedy. Do we have any further discussion? Councilmember Kivel?
Just one. Did you guys look at Backall at all?
I looked at all the vac companies. The only issue, most of these guys are selling it third party, like Best Company. They sell somebody else's vac truck. Best was hitting us really hard. He was really trying to sell us their tractor. They didn't even have a service company, like a service station in Michigan. That was my biggest thing with Jack Doheny is we can run over to Northville. They make their own trucks. They do their own service. They're not going anywhere. And these guys came in cheaper. And we actually have our name on a truck, which,
That's the most important part.
yeah, we have our name on our truck. If we would have waited till, like, if I wouldn't have put the name on the truck back when we talked about it, we'd be looking at $525 to $530 on this truck. If I said, like, went to him tomorrow and said, hey, start this process now. So we have our name on a truck. If you guys don't approve tonight, we can still back out, but we have a truck tagged with our name for delivery coming in January.
Councilmember Dilg?
Thank you. I just wanted to say, I really appreciate you holding out for more money. Sometimes when people are doing their jobs and they don't think it's their money, they, don't worry about that kind of thing. So really appreciate you looking out for the city and residents who, we spend a lot of money, so it's appreciated that we try to get more back. So thank you. That's all.
Councilmember Kurtzwell.
I just had a question on the bid. As I was looking over this, but I pretty much understood most of it, but I didn't have the answer to this. What is it's on the hydraulic oil temp alarm. At what point does that alarm trigger? At what temperature does that hydraulic oil need to get?
I don't know what temperature. Obviously, I'm not sure on the specs on when the actual temperature comes on, but I'm assuming it's prior to it being a problem. When the light will come on before it's actually too hot to cause any damage. I don't know 100% on what that temp is.
Because it's oil, so I would think that it can't get too high, probably maybe a little bit over 100, but I just was
Right.
curious at what temperature does that alarm go off?
I wish I could answer that one for you. I don't know.
That's okay.
All right, if we have nothing else, we have a motion by Councilmember Hanson, supported by Councilmember Kennedy. City Clerk Deaton, could you lead us in a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
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 Yep.
Yes. Thank you. Motion passes. New business number 3 this evening, bid award sidewalk replacement project.
Okay, that's me again. So, come to unite with the sidewalk replacement project is being set up to replace, we have a majority of, tons of sidewalks in town that have been heaved up by city trees, and as the DPW cannot keep up with the way the trees are growing and heaving up the sidewalks. So the misaligned sidewalks, the contractor will come in and replace, pull tree roots, restoration, the whole project, remove everything, debris. The contractor will be directed which addresses to go to. The plan is to start in the subdivision and complete that subdivision instead of bouncing around just by call, which we've done in the past. The contractor removing 300 flags of misaligned sidewalks that are creating trip hazards. They will be removing and disposing of tree roots that are causing the problem, and the contractor will also be performing restoration. The job we did budget for this year was in GL 101-441-974. Possible course of action is to not award the sidewalk replacement project to Luigi Federal and Son and Cement Company for $89,925 from GL account line 101-441-974.
Councilmember Dill.
Thank you. I just had a couple questions. Maybe I'm missing it. How many pieces of sidewalk, I guess?
300
That is
like
300.
individual flags, like 5x5 sections.
And then how were those found or chosen?
A lot of them have been phone calls in. I've kind of went out and back in spring, I went through subdivision and kind of pinpoint areas that I know we have a lot of more mature trees that are causing the problems. Right now, my focus is go to a certain, like I'm going to go towards Lyon Boulevard right now because they're horrible.
That's where I live. That's why I asked.
And then, yes, it's through there. I'm going to try to do kind of that side of town, and then whatever we have left, we're going to actually head to Hidden Creek, since they're starting to get to that point of everything's starting to get, we've got one cul-de-sac where the whole cul-de-sac is just destroyed by the city tree roots. So where we can get them in and get them in a kind of a core area, and just instead of bouncing from one side of town to the other, and just get everything and just kind of, I'd like to continue this program until we're caught back up where the DPW can keep up with,
Right.
Gradual calls.
And are they going to start this right away?
So once, obviously if it gets approved, they said 30 days from me saying, yes, go, they will mobilize. They have a crew that'll come out and tear out the sidewalk, a crew that'll come in and tear out the roots, a crew that'll come out and then form and prep, and then a crew that'll pour. And then another crew that comes in restoration. So it's going to be, they're going to, actually went and looked at, they're doing some of the work over in Brighton right now.
Okay.
I talked to the director over there in Brighton. He has nothing but good things to say about them. He said they come in, they hammer it out, and they're out, and you can't even tell they're there other than, a little bit of restoration, grass seed and stuff like that. He said they do a great job.
For all that work, it seems rather inexpensive, actually.
Yeah, that's, I don't know if you saw the one bid, it was way,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
some guys, it's just, he said that's the only way I can make money.
Awesome. Thank you.
Councilmember Kill.
Just a little side note, are you trying to conceive of any kind of a way to end up keeping it's the mature trees that are pushing everything up. Is there some way to end up trying to preemptively carve back some roots or something, so that it can't expand itself to the point of pushing all those flags up?
I have not looked at anything like that. Usually, by now, most of a lot of the mature trees in town they're going to do what they've done. I guess I could look into like some of the newer subs like Princeton area or Glen Meadows to see if there's something we could do there before they start causing the same problems. I have not looked
Crazy
into
how
that
many
aspect.
of them have popped. I mean,
Yes.
it's everywhere.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think with this mild winter we had, because I went up into Trotter's Point, and I couldn't believe how many that were not there last year, where they actually moved 2 inches. I think that
absolutely.
the roots just, everything didn't stop growing like it normally does with the winter we had this year, so I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, if I could, I'd like to make the motion that we award the sidewalk replacement project to Luigi Ferdinandi, I don't know, and Son Cement Company for the cost of $89,925 from GL 101-441 dot 974.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Kibble, supported by Councilmember Kennedy. Do we have any further discussion? Councilmember Kennedy.
Jeff, I want to applaud you for the creativity and the approach here. Obviously, by contracting this out, you increase the capacity of that department to do the work that truly requires their skill set. And also the point that you made about them having the different crews that'll come in sequence allows you to address those problems concurrently rather than sequentially, and shortens the length of time to do that job overall. So, great job.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. City Clerk Deaton, could you lead us in a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you,
Jeff.
Council.
New business number 4 this evening, final budget amendments for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023.
Good evening. So I'm back again with, our final budget amendments for the previous fiscal year, 2022-2023. So for fiscal year 22-23 budget amendments, we have a total of $1,585,394 for general fund expenditures, $10,072 for cemetery perpetual care fund revenues, $521 for drug forfeiture fund revenues, $10,134 for drug forfeiture fund expenditures, $17,805 for 2003 sanitary sewer bond fund revenues, and $5,853 for the equipment replacement fund revenues. So I did provide you with an explanation for each of those funds as to why we needed to make those increases. And I'm looking tonight for a motion to either approve or reject the proposed budget amendments. And then we can close out the fiscal year. And we do have our auditors, Plant Moran, coming the week of August 7th and August 14th to look at our financial statements.
Councilmember Mosier.
I'll make the motion to approve the proposed fiscal year 2022-2023 final budget amendments.
I'll support.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Kurtzwell.
I had some questions.
Yes.
The number looks large, but in terms of what is being proposed, but let's work behind the numbers a little bit
Yeah.
so we can sort of explain it to the public.
Sure.
The first thing in the general fund, that's, pretty large expenditure increase, the 1,585. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty large, but let's work at that number.
Okay.
At that number, we're going to take out the fire truck. That's 1.5 million.
Correct.
So that's just an accounting adjustment.
Correct. Because we ordered the truck in the previous fiscal year, we had to make the initial payment because we had a lease payment that was due last fiscal year on July 1st. When we closed out fiscal year 21-22, we had signed in our purchase agreement recognizing basically we received all of the funds to purchase the truck through because we're doing a lease purchase agreement that we're financing over 5 years. So we had all of that revenue had to be recognized at that time. So it was put into our assets. And then now, because we did not receive the truck in that fiscal year, we received the truck this 22-23 fiscal year, we now must recognize that expenditure of purchasing the truck at the full $1.5 million. So really, we had a surplus that went to fund balance previous fiscal year. This year, we're recognizing expenditure, so we're really netting zero overall.
Yeah, and I think that is key for people to understand that this is not like the expenditure side of the budget has mushroomed. All you're doing is just doing an accounting balance on it.
Correct.
So I wanted to make sure that was really clear.
Thank you.
Next is, I did have some questions on admin.
Yes.
On the admin expenditures. There's a proposed increase of 33,000, and it's set for professional services.
Correct.
And that's all related to the financial change from PNC over to Huntington.
Correct. We were receiving tremendous bank service fees every month that seemed to be increasing quarterly when we were with our previous banking institution, PNC. So that was one of the things we were looking forward to when we transitioned over to Huntington Bank this year, was that those service fees have reduced tremendously. But we didn't fully transition over until June. So we did see quite a bit, especially in April and May, of those additional service fees that we didn't previously budget when we were working on the budget in April of 2022. So we did see that come. And then we also had fees for our bond rating that we went through for the road improvement project. When we were going through that bond process in January and February of last year, we had S&P Global do a updated bond rating for us, and that was something that we had not previously budgeted for, that expenditure, and obviously that increased that line item as well.
Well, I would think that those items would have been a little bit difficult to estimate. So I get the variance there. So to me, that's understandable. Next, on the proposed increase of the contractual services and on the planning consultant. Now, some cities do this. What they're able to do is time their contracts, their service contracts, with their budget. So, in other words, if there's going to be an increase, let's take planning consultants. If they're going to have an increase, their increase had to be in during the budget season. So we are able to budget that in. So I was just wondering why maybe, did this come as a surprise? Did we know about this, or was there something they're working on that prompted an additional, I mean, it's a $30,000 increase.
Well, we'll start with the planning consultant, because I think that's the one you're addressing at the 29-1. The way that contract is set up is that we have certain items that are charged back to the actual project line, and then we have just overall planning consultant fees. Those are when we have our planning consultant, usually Hannah Smith, in the office that's answering phone calls, taking meetings. These can be non-projects that are going to ever go to Planning Commission or ZBA. They're just individuals coming in that have variance questions or things like that. We're getting billed for those hours. They also take calls and emails and work on things back in their offices when they're not working directly at City Hall on Thursdays. So those, I believe, we don't have a set limit on that in the current contract that we have with CIB. So those are kind of, some years we come in under, some years, the last couple of years, we've come in over, just based on the number of resident inquiries that they have to respond to. And then we're billed by hour on that activity.
Okay, so this is this is now a line item that we have to be a little bit concerned about in the budgeting season for next year. Because, I mean, 30,000, you have to plan for it.
Correct.
So, did we give them an increase?
We did. We did give them an increase. We did not go, I have to look at what that number is. I do have it with me, but we're not at 84,000. But I'm hoping that this was an anomaly. We did have some, we have some newer subs, people moving in, having questions. We had quite a few variance questions and things that came in the last couple months that could, go back to some of these newer subs where people are moving in, like in Fieldstone and places like that.
Yeah, okay. All right, and then I'm going to senior transportation. This one I was a little bit, I don't know how often this happens. Could you explain how this happened?
Well, this is rare and hopefully won't happen again, but there was an issue last year where there was some billings. Normally, in a perfect world, we get billed monthly for the People Express services, which is the current contract that we're under. I know there's going to be some changes moving forward, but for our senior transportation fund. So we would get from the previous month by usually like the 20th of the next month, we would get that billing for the previous month. Well, it turns out we were missing a couple months of billing, and Lisa was trying to get those from the vendor, and we did not end up getting those until way past the closure of the previous fiscal year. So that would have been bills that were due in the 21-22 fiscal year. And so we ended up having to pay them in the fall of this 22-23 fiscal year. And so that made us over budget in that line because we essentially were under budget the year before because we didn't pay for 2 months, and then now we're over for this. So I'm assuming moving forward, I'm hoping that this, won't occur. It wasn't for our lack of effort on the city clerk, treasurer, and I's part of trying to get those invoices in as quickly as we could before I had to close out the books, but it just didn't happen.
No, I mean, both you and Lisa do a great job, and I think it's commendable, what you do for the city. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But maybe there is something contractually that we could add to contracts that make these vendors a little bit more timely in submitting some of their invoices to the city. And if not, then I don't know how we handle it, but this is not fair to the city to now be sitting here with an adjustment. I mean, I get it's $11,000, but it's $11,000 that could have been properly allocated to the proper year in which the actual service and the invoice was incurred.
Yeah, and it is unusual, so thankfully this is not a common occurrence. And we did have a surplus last year because we didn't get that billing. So again, it's almost as if we're netting zero on just if you just look at that fund and not over that department. I mean, not overall in the general fund, but hopefully moving forward this will be corrected.
And then I had a question on the cemetery perpetual revenue and on the sanitary sewer bond revenue. On the cemetery, you go from $350 that's in the account to now interest now $3,472.
Yeah.
How do you?
Well, when we budgeted back in March, April of 2021 or 2022 for the 22-23 fiscal year, interest rates were not where they ended up looking at, especially the last quarter. I'd say since March especially, interest rates have been pretty high on our statements. And so I did not anticipate. I was looking, usually I do a catchback of 5 years, and I look at that and kind of average out and try to take out anything that was extraordinary and try to come up with an average there that I present to you when we do our budgeting process. And I just did not expect interest rates this year to do what they did. So that's where that's showing up.
That's a big jump.
It's a big jump. I don't think we're going to live in that land forever. I think things are going to come back down, and we won't see those waves that we're experiencing this year, next year in the budgeting cycle.
Well, then let's go to sanitary sewer bond revenue. Is that the same thing?
Same thing. Same issue. And there was a little bit, I believe, in the drug forfeiture. That's why that revenue, I'm asking for an increase, so the budget matches what the revenue is that came in.
But that's
Same
even
issue.
a bigger jump. What's your interest rate? I guess I don't.
I would have to look at that one specifically. I don't have them off the top of my head, but a lot of those interest rates, those fluctuations were with the old PNC accounts. Now that we've moved over to Huntington, we have a different system set up because, again, to reduce our service fees, we're going to see less swing in those interest rates. We have more of a set rate, and to reduce our overall service fees each month.
So is that part of the deal?
That was part of the deal with Huntington.
Okay, all right. So there'll be a little bit more stabilization in the actual monthly service fees. And to get that stabilization, there's going to be an adjustment that we will not get as much interest on these accounts
Correct.
as we normally would get but that's the trade-off.
Correct. It's what they
Okay.
call earn credits,
Okay, got it.
essentially. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. You're very
Thank you.
informed. Thank you.
Thanks.
We have a motion by Councilmember Moser, supported by Councilmember Kennedy. Do we have anything else? City Clerk Deaton, could you lead us in a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you, Patricia. Might as well stay there.
I am.
Moving on to the budget tonight. Did anyone have anything on the budget? Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
For being here. At this time, we will open the floor for our second public comment. Please remember to state your name and address, and remember our 2-minute time limit.
Thad Bogert, 1033 Paddock. I'd like to bring to the attention of the city the passing of Carl Richards, who was a regular attendee of city council meetings. Speaking about Carl is difficult to discuss given the regrettable incidents that have occurred during his term as city council member. So I will just leave you with his obituary. Carl W. Richards, age 77, a lifelong resident of South Lyon, passed away on July 20th, 2023. He was born June 22nd, 1946, the son of Russell and Reva Richards. Carl was a former teacher of South Lyon Community Schools. He was known for his extensive knowledge of South Lyon and the many families that have been in our community for generations. He loved history and enjoyed researching the family lineage of family members, friends, and neighbors. Carl was also elected to South Lyon City Council and served one term from 2017 to 2021. He was preceded in death by his parents, Russell and Reva Richards. Service for Carl will be held at First United Methodist Church on Monday, July 31st at 10:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ted.
With that, we'll close the floor for public comment this evening and move on to the manager's report with City Manager Zelnick.
Thanks, Mayor. A few items. On a future city council agenda, we will have the intergovernmental agreement with South Lyon Schools and the Senior Activity Center, which is also with Green Oak Township and Lyon Township. We will also have the transit agreement with Oakland County, as well as the terminating the current agreement that we had with People's Express, which will now be taken over with Oakland County. The Hagedorn Sanitary Sewer and Road Paving Project continues. They continue moving along and install the new sanitary sewer on Hagedorn, and rebuilding of the road work will begin in early August. The trail construction, I went this evening and inspected the trail near 9 Mile. That's for the volunteer park to Princeton Road. They're still waiting the installation of the concrete sidewalk and approaches. They have installed the bollards that are the entrance to the actual from the actual streets, and they've also completed the restoration of the land with the planting of grass. I've included in your packet tonight information regarding the No Mow May. There's several articles in there. There's some on the pros and the cons of the concept. I've begun looking also at the opportunity to plant some cover crops and some flowers or other items within the vacant farm property that we have as part of the volunteer park, to help potentially offset some of those concerns that we have regarding the pollinators within the community. And I expect that we'll be discussing this at a future meeting. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Councilmember Dill.
I just wanted to say I appreciated that stuff on No Mow May. I've actually been doing quite a bit of research on it, and some of those articles I had not seen yet. So I think that's helpful, and I didn't know if do you want me to, I was just gonna consolidate it all and send it to you. Do you want me to do it like that, or do you want to just have all the?
I would think so. Since you originally brought it up and
Yeah.
you took the interest in trying to champion that, I would recommend doing that. And then if council wants to have that on a future agenda, or if you just want to bring it up on a topic, that's fine too.
Great, yeah, just to discuss then. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Paul. Tonight, we'll move on to our council comments. This evening, we're going to start with Councilmember Mosier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, I just wanted to say thank you to the Martin family for being our family hardware store in town for many, many years. They've always been supportive of the community, and I just wanted to say thank you to them. Next, I want to say thanks to the DPW, Fire Department, Police Department, all the ones involved cleaning up after that storm. We had a tree come down at a neighbor's house on our yard, on our street, across the road. I mean, it was a huge mess, and they were out there like that. Fire Department first to get it out of the road, then DPW came in and cleaned up. Police Department was right behind them, making sure. It was just, the response time was very minimal, and we were all very happy that everybody was safe. So, thanks for that. Thank you to Ken, is it Micklash that,
Yes.
with the Parks and Rec, for volunteering. We still need volunteers. We need volunteers for Pumpkin Fest and for the entertainment tent. So if you're out there, if you want to volunteer, we're looking for you. And then we have a very busy weekend coming up with the Friday concert in the park. Saturday we have Farmers Market, Motor Fest, and Christmas in July. It's going to be a busy weekend. I hope to see everybody down there. And then the last thing I want to touch on is Carl Richards. It was kind of odd not having him here tonight. And I know he wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but in spite of all of that, man had a good heart, and he had South Lyon's best interest in mind. Whether he did it right or wrong, that's not for me to say. But he was a good person, and he will be missed. That's it. Thank you.
Yep, great job. Great reminder about the volunteers, too. Councilmember Hanson.
Not much from me this evening, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say that I was sorry for not being able to attend the first meeting in July here. Unfortunately, I was on a family vacation visiting the in-laws over in Japan, so unfortunately I was out of the area. But I appreciate everybody holding the fort while I was gone, so thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Dillard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Mosier said every single thing I was going to say, so I will just I will just say rest in peace to Carl Richards, and I really do look forward to this weekend. I think it's going to be a blast. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Dillard. Councilmember Kivel.
Actually, that I was looking forward to welcoming that Ken Micklash for Parks and Rec. I think that's cool. His bio seems to, he seems like a good fit there. So the No-Mo May, yeah. I'm really looking forward to having some conversations about that. I've been really doing an awful lot of looking into that kind of thing too. And I'm really hoping like crazy that we can, I don't know how many of you end up taking a lot of interest in all the gardens that are around the district library. But all the people that end up doing that stuff are volunteers, and they pretty much, they map out their area, and that's their turf. I'm hoping like crazy, because there's so many people that want to get in there that don't have an opportunity to do it because they're already spoken for. We have a lot of parkland, Andover Park, Columbia Park, McCaddy Park, where they're active places. I'm really hoping like crazy that we could actually go around the periphery of those, groom some beds, and then let the people that want to volunteer that could have been doing it at the library do it in our backyard, in our parks. You end up getting the benefit of having a beautification project, as well as the pollinators being amped up. So I was just hoping like we're not just going to focus on volunteer park, and there's tons of opportunities there as well. But nonetheless, I'm hoping that we're looking more broadly at that. And it doesn't have to end up being excruciatingly expensive. So that's all I had. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Kivel. Councilmember Kurtzwell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I also want to remind everybody of this incredible weekend that is coming to South Lyon with the Lake Street Cruise-In, with the Motor Fest. with Carl and Joanna's foundation. I think it's going to be just a great, great weekend. Weather's supposed to be incredible. So let's get out and really enjoy South Lyon. Next, I would like to thank the following sponsors at the Lake Street Cruising. Geomori Home Team Real Estate out of South Lyon, Hudson John Deere in South Lyon, Jay Woods out of Rochester. We have Lake Street Tavern out of South Lyon, Lyon Homescape, South Lyon. We have Painters Supply and Equipment out of Taylor, Michigan. And we have Performance Creative and Resources out of Brighton. I'd like to thank all these individuals that are coming from outside of the South Lyon area to definitely take an interest in our incredible town and be part of this festival. Last, just real quick on the passing of Carl Richards. A good memory that I have of Carl relates to Christmas. Carl had a small Christmas tree in his apartment with a couple of lights, but really no ornaments. So years ago, I sent him a Christmas card, and he placed it on his tree as an ornament. I heard about this, so year after year from then on, I always made it a point to send Carl a Christmas card at Christmas. Several times he'd come to me when he would see me here at a city council meeting, and he'd say, "Thank you for the Christmas card, Maggie. You're the only one that sent me one." I would send him Christmas cards with more stars on it each year, with more trees, with tons of glitter and sparkle, because I knew that that Christmas card was going to go on his Christmas tree as an ornament. I knew, or at least I suspected, that each Christmas card that I would send would find its way either on the top of that Christmas tree or hanging off of a branch. I always sent him a Christmas card. This year I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to find a Christmas card that has lots of glitter, lots of color, make it really, really look like Christmas. Just as if Carl was here and he was going to put it on a tree. The only difference is that when I make out that Christmas card, it's going to say, "To Carl Richards." The address isn't going to be Lenox. It's going to be heaven, because I know that's where he's at. God bless you, Carl. Rest in peace.
Thank you, Councilmember Kurtzwell. Councilmember Kennedy.
Tonight, as some of the council members have already mentioned, we have a lot of activities coming up this weekend. Just want to give some of the details for those activities. First is the Friday's concert in the park. It starts at 7 p.m. This week we'll be featuring the Judy Banker Band, and as they return to South Lyon. So make a point to come out and enjoy some old-time country music. On Saturday, we have the farmers market as usual, starting at 9 a.m. and then at 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. We have the all-day Lake Street Cruise-In Motor Fest. So make plans to come downtown, see several hundred classic vehicles, and to be entertained by Magic Bus during that event. And then Saturday night will be the Christmas in July, provided by the Carl and Joanne Foundation, with food trucks, games, and entertainment provided by the Williamsburg Band and Phoenix Theory. The event runs from 4 p.m. until midnight. And so as you can see, South Lyon will be the place to be this weekend. Make your plan now to attend. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Kennedy. Yeah, big weekend. I think everyone's looking forward to it. I don't even want to say anything about the weather. Let's just root for the best. I feel like the car show's had the best, though. I mean, they're going to call me out on a jinx there now, but hopefully it's great. It has been in the past. It's going to be an all-day thing, so let's make sure that we're prepared for a long day, everybody. You know, I'm excited for that, and it's really one of our major events, obviously, and with it being our 150th, anniversary of the community, I hope to see a lot of people out there. I think people will be in a festive mood for all of it, and those folks do a great job. And like I said, the doubleheader over for Christmas in July, maybe catch a nap. I don't know. I mean, so no, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. I'm a crier, so when it comes to Carl, man, I got some Carl stories for you. But I think the best one is when I was younger and running around town, hopping from establishment to establishment. One of my favorite things that I never knew, I had sat with this man at Brown's Root Beer for a decade, worked with him on the cable commission. He obviously sat up here for 4 years. Heck of a karaoke singer. True story. True story. So,
Really?
you know, he could belt it, and, you know, I'm going to miss him. But, you know, that's where we're at this week. So I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Move to
Have a great
adjourn.
night, everybody.